ladies and gentlemen, once again, as always, it's the one, it's the only, it's the motherfucking General Miguel Magallon! As always, the president, the founder, the CEO of Magallon Entertainment and leader of the brand new sports betting podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my first ever in-depth analysis on the upcoming NFL season. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to break down every single one of my plays. I'm going to give you all of my picks for this weekend, 100% free, 100% transparent, and 100% documented by the end of this video. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you guys every game that I'm betting, every game I'm putting money on, and every single one of my plays and in-play analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I give you everything that I'm going to be banking on for free. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. So, the first game that we have on the NFL schedule is the Thursday night kickoff. The Lions visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I'm probably not going to be able to post this video until probably Friday or Saturday night. I got a lot of things going on right now, so I'm going to record this video tonight on a Tuesday. I probably won't be able to release it until after Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. In the future, most of my videos are probably going to come out Saturday night, unless I'm putting money on the Thursday night football game. In that case, I'll come out with the video probably Wednesday night, maybe Thursday morning. But I'm going to try my best to always post my videos before kickoff and before the game starts, unless I got some family shit going on, or, you know, I got one of my kids' baseball games, you know, I got kids, I got a family, so we always have things going on. So sometimes I won't be able to post the videos on time, but I will be able to post a video of all my tickets for the entire weekend, so you can see everything that I put money on. The only exception might be the Thursday night game. I'll try to get out my videos before the Thursday night kickoff game if I'm putting money on that game. If not, then I'll just wait until Friday, Saturday night before Sunday morning kickoff. So, anyways, let's jump into this. The first game is Lions at the Kansas City Chiefs. This is my first bet for the NFL season. I am taking the Chiefs on the money line. I just checked the Vegas sports books today. We are starting to see some line movement because I guess Travis Kelce injured himself. I guess he has some kind of knee injury. He may or may not play. Chris Jones is holding out because he wants a new contract. He wants that, you know, he wants that Khalil Mack money. He wants that Joey Bosa money. He wants that Nick Bosa money. You know, he wants to get paid as one of the best defensive players in history, and he wants to reset the market. He wants a massive fucking contract because he truly believes he is the Patrick Mahomes of their defense. And he believes that most of the defensive pressure and most of the defensive sacks and interceptions that happen on defense are because of his pressure, because of his impact, and because of the magnitude of pressure he's able to put on offenses. So we'll see. I hope he gets a new contract. I'm not sure how big it's going to be. Again, he wants to be the highest paid player in NFL history, or at least he wants, you know what I mean, a massive pay jump from what he's currently getting. He is in the last year of his contract, so he wants some years and you know, some guaranteed money behind it. He's starting to get up there in age, so I understand the GM is probably cautious about adding too many years to his contract because he's already getting up there in age. And we just saw what happened with Von Miller up in Buffalo. You know, as you start to age and you start to get older and older in this league, you start to get more injured and injured in this league. So I understand why the management team is probably holding out and they're cautious and they're kind of doing their due diligence when it comes to handing out too many years on his contract, because they don't know how many years he's still going to be an impactful player in this league. And they don't want to be sitting on dead money in the second half of the contract and basically paying him just to be injured when they can use that money to fill in other key positions for this organization. So we'll see what happens with Chris Jones. And then with Travis Kelce, of course, he's got that knee injury, hyperextension, some shit like that. I'm not sure if he's going to play or not. I hope he does, but I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs regardless on the money line around minus 200, minus 250. Again, sometime this weekend, I'm gonna send you guys a video, and I'm gonna post a video online on this YouTube channel for all of my picks for the weekend. I'll try to get this video out as soon as I can, but I probably won't be able to send it out till Friday night or Saturday night. Again, I got a lot of things going on with my other podcast, my main podcast, Magayon Entertainment, where we talk about the stock market, we talk about what's going on with Bitcoin, crypto, real estate, the economy, how to put money in different asset classes, and what I think people should be doing with their money in this environment when it comes to disposable income and investing that money in this environment. So that's always going to be my main priority, and that's always going to take the bulk of my time, because that's the one where I already have a shit ton of subscribers, and that's the one where it's my main focus in life, because I have to manage money as a portfolio manager. But other than that, guys, I am going to try to post as many videos on this channel as possible, because I want to make as much money as possible. And again, at the end of the NFL season, I want to cash out as many profits as possible. So you guys, sometime at the end of Christmas or at the end of the postseason, you guys can buy as many assets as possible, and you guys can go over to my other podcast and figure out where you can deposit that money, where you can invest that money, so that way you can compound your portfolio, and that way in the future you no longer have to work for money. But first things first, we have to fucking make money. So the first bet of the NFL season that I'm going to be making using my bankroll is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs money line, minus 200, minus 250. We'll see what the final number ends up being. But I truly believe Patrick Mahomes is going to win this game. He's 5-0 in Week 1 season openers. He is 5-0 in his career. Andy Reid has like an 80-90% win percentage in Week 1 season openers. And I just don't trust Jared Goff. I don't trust the bitch-ass Lions. I know they have a good defense. I know they're going to have a real strong run game. They just got that new running back out of Alabama, and he's a good pass catcher too. So I think Jared Goff and the offense is going to do really well this game. I think they're probably, they might do great, especially with no Chris Jones on defense. They're probably going to be able to run the ball all day, and Jared Goff is going to have time to throw the ball all day. But on the other side of the equation, even without Travis Kelce, and that does give me trepidation, that does give me cause to pause, that does worry me a little bit, I think Patrick Mahomes still has one of the best offensive lines in the game. I think he's still also going to get a shit ton of pass protection. Again, I know the Detroit Lions have a lot of good defensive players, and they're able to put a lot of defensive pressure on quarterbacks. But Patrick Mahomes is healthy now, and he is a mobile quarterback. He's probably one of the most gifted mobile quarterbacks in the game, not because he's the fastest, not because he's the quickest, but because he's very, very patient when it comes to scrambling out of the pocket, and he always prefers to throw downfield rather than just running for the first down. He's always looking for the open wide receiver. I think that's that baseball player in him. He knows how to move with the ball. He knows how to throw the ball while he's moving, and he's deadly accurate downfield. So I think it'll probably be a high scoring game. I could see the Detroit Lions putting up, anywhere between 21-28 easily, but I could also see the Kansas City Chiefs putting up 28-35 easily. And at the end of the day, when push comes to shove and we get into crunch time and you ask me who would I rather have with the ball in their hands, Patrick Mahomes or Jared Goff's bitch ass, sorry, I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes. And again, Jared Goff, I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's above average if you give him time in the pocket. He's kind of like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in terms of you give him time in the pocket and he can, annihilate you. But the moment that pocket collapses, the moment he has to pull the trigger quick under pressure, the moment you put a defensive end in his face, he's always throwing interceptions. He's always, accidentally fumbling it. He's always doing something stupid. So again, no Chris Jones should help this offense. Again, I do think the Detroit Lions put up anywhere between 21-28 in this game, but I can see the Chiefs putting up anywhere between 28-35, even without Travis Kelce. And again, it's not just because, I believe in Patrick Mahomes, and I do think he is the best quarterback in the league right now, but it's because I believe in this offensive line, and I think he has a top 5 offensive line in the league right now. So that's going to be my first play of the NFL season. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs on the money line, minus 200, minus 250. And again, that's using a $2,500 bankroll budget, which is what I'm starting off with the season. If you guys want to know more about that, go ahead and watch and listen to my last two videos where I talk about how much money I'm using to start off the NFL season. Again, I didn't want to start with too much because then you guys will start bitching at me saying that I already started at the finish line or halfway towards the finish line. And then if I start off with too little money, like 300, 400, 500, then you'll say, you'll question my validity, because you'll say, how could this dude be a successful sports gambler if he only has $500 to start the season? So I'm starting with $2,500, not too little, but not too much. And the goal, the mission, the focus on this podcast is to take $2,500 and flip it to $100,000. And we're going to do it by any and all means necessary. We're going to bet heavily. We're going to bet often. And we're going to be ruthless when it comes to our sports betting strategy. So on 2,500, I'm basically taking 10 units and I'm putting it on the Kansas City Chiefs money line. And that'll be the first bet for the NFL season. Next up, we have the Rams at the Seahawks. Rams at Seahawks. That's an interesting one. I just saw the line come down. I think the line went up. I think the line started at 4.5. Now I think it's Seahawks -5. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I think the Rams are going to tank this season. And I think they should tank. I think Matthew Stafford is way past his prime. Again, another clear example of a quarterback who needs pass protection. He needs time in the pocket. And he had a lot of offensive linemen that retired off of that last Super Bowl run. I know Andrew Whitworth was the most notable one, but then they lost like 3 or 4 offensive tackles in free agency because they didn't have enough money to pay their ass because Matthew Stafford this past offseason refused to renegotiate his contract. And what McVay and the management team did was they said, hey, Stafford, we believe in you. You're still our guy. We love you. We won a Super Bowl ring with you. We need you. But we also need you to take a pay cut right now because Aaron Donald is still one of the highest defensive players in history. Jalen Ramsey, back when he was with the team, is still one of the highest paid corners in NFL history. And we have a lot of guys on the offensive line that we need to sign to an extension and renegotiate their contracts. But it's hard when the QB is making so much fucking money. And we already had guys who retired off that last Super Bowl run. So if you wouldn't mind, Matthew Stafford, would you mind taking a pay cut and taking 1 or 2 or 3 less milli? Aaron Rodgers did, right? And what did they do? They got him a new running back. So how about, you take us in good faith and know that if we renegotiate your contract and we give you less money this upcoming season, but we have a successful season, then next year in the offseason, we could rework your contract again and give you more money next year. But what we need is more money this year so we can get you a better offensive line, get you better weapons, get you better pass protection, and maybe get you a running back or two, just like, the Jets did with Aaron Rodgers. What do you think about that? And Matthew Stafford pretty much said, eat a bag of dicks, McVay. I ain't renegotiating nothing. I want all the money. I want the whole fucking bag. And you guys better figure it out, elsewhere. Better look in the NFL draft or something because I'm not giving up no money. I deserve this money. I earned this money. I worked for this money. I'm keeping my money. And Matthew Stafford basically told the Rams management to fuck off and said, I'm not renegotiating nothing. And then the Rams management basically said, well, we got to save, money somewhere. And if we can't pass protect him, then we're not going nowhere because Matthew Stafford without pass protection ain't what he used to be. So they traded Jalen Ramsey, sent him to the Dolphins, got some picks out of it. And now it looks like they're just tanking. Furthermore, we just got news today that Cooper Kupp re-injured his knee, so he has a knee issue again, the same one that he sat out last year with and had to get surgery on. Now he re-aggravated it, and now he's going to be out for this game again. So it's already starting off bad. And we saw this team in the preseason. Guys, I don't know if you guys watched a lot of NFL preseason, but let me tell you, this offensive line, McVay actually used his starting offensive lineman in the preseason just to see who should be, who's going to be in the rotation and who's going to be the starters and who's not. This Rams offensive line is fucking trash. It sucks. It's garbage. And you're going to convince me that Matthew Stafford's going to have time in the pocket versus Seattle's defense? Ain't no way in hell, bro. That ain't going to happen. So And again, Seahawks, they're notoriously good at drafting well on defense. I think one of their first round picks in this last year's NFL draft was actually a DB and a wide receiver. So I'm telling you, Seahawks, they have a good defense. It might not be what it once was with the Legion of Boom back when they had Cam Chancellor and Richard Sherman and Bobby Wagner. You know what I mean? When that line was stacked on the line of scrimmage back in the day. Back when Russell Wilson had a cheap contract, hint, hint, I hope you guys know where I'm going with this. But, Geno Smith, he's not making a lot of money. So they have money to spend. They got money to burn. They got money to throw everywhere at every fucking position. And I think the Seahawks, I wouldn't consider them stacked, but I would say that they have more depth than they used to have in previous years under Russell Wilson and that, big ass contract he used to have. So now I think the Seahawks are fully reloaded again. I think they added some key pieces on the defense. They gave Geno Smith another weapon on offense, got him a top flight wide receiver. So, we'll see what ends up happening this season. Aaron Donald, we'll see if he still has some gas in the tank. I think he'll put some pressure on that Seahawks offensive line too. But at the end of the day, no Jalen Ramsey. Bobby Wagner left the Rams, and he knows the entire playbook for the Rams. Now he's back in Seattle, where he's probably going to retire at the end of the season. He's going to be a defensive captain. He's going to put everyone in their right position, in the key position. And I got to be honest with you. I really do believe that this Rams team is trying to tank this season because there's a lot of QBs coming out in the draft. And I posted about this on my first or second videos, one of my first couple of videos. We talked about it on the Sports Betting Strategy, where I specifically said this is probably the most stacked NFL draft in quarterback history, at least in the last 15 years. I think this year in the NFL draft, you're going to see at least 6 QBs taken in the first round. But I think I said it last week. I wouldn't be surprised if you see 7, 8, or 9 QBs taken in the first round. Because again, when you draft them in the first round, you get that 5th year option. And if you're a GM and you're considering this QB as potentially the future of your franchise, you want to have that 5th year option. That way you can continue to stack the roster around him. So I'm looking at the fact that Caleb Williams out of USC. I'm looking at Deion Sanders' son coming out of Colorado. I'm looking at the kid at Florida State, the kid at UNC, the kids out there in Texas, Alabama, Georgia, you name it. I think there's a lot of the kid up in Notre Dame. I think he's going to be a good QB. There's a lot of great quarterback action in college football right now. And I'm not saying they're all going to be the next Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying it's the next Joe Burrow. I'm not even saying it's the next Justin Herbert or Trevor Lawrence. But what I am saying is this is the most stacked draft when it comes to QB entering a draft, potentially in the last 15 years, and one of the deepest in NFL history. And I think if you're a GM, if you're an owner, if you're a president of football operations in the league right now, and you kind of have an old quarterback or, a mediocre one, like fucking Mac Jones's bitch ass, you're looking at the fact that this could be one of the deepest QB drafts in NFL history, and it's going to be filled with a lot of potential lottery picks. You know what I mean? Like a lottery ticket can change, and I said this last week on the podcast, but, people forget before Joe Burrow got to Cincinnati, that organization, that team was fucking trash. Cincinnati Bengals were fucking garbage. They were a laughingstock in the league. And I remember the Cleveland Browns when they went 0-16. Now they got Deshaun Watson and they're talking about, playoff hopes and potentially making it to a Super Bowl one day with him. I remember the Buffalo Bills before Josh Allen got there. Man, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady used to own that fucking division. They used to murder them fucking bitches. Them, the Jets, and Miami's bitch ass back in the day. And guess what? Now Josh Allen is there, and now he's king of the fucking AFC East. So if you get the right QB, it doesn't have to be the number 1 pick. Baker Mayfield was a number 1 pick. That doesn't mean nothing. All you have to do, look, Lamar Jackson was a late first-round pick, right? So you don't need the number 1 overall pick. All you got to do is just draft someone in the first round. Maybe give it a year or two. You know what I mean? Like they did with Patrick Mahomes. They made him sit out a year, right? Draft someone in the first round, even if it's late in the first round, like they did with Lamar Jackson. And guess what? All of a sudden, your entire fucking franchise can change. It can change the way that, the fans look at you. And most importantly, it'll change the amount of money you can charge fans to come visit you and watch your games live. So, look, guys, I'm not saying that the next Joe Burrow or the next Josh Allen or Trevor Lawrence or Justin Herbert or Patrick Mahomes is sitting in this year's NFL draft. What I'm saying is, there's a lot of fucking potential. There's a lot of fucking talent. And even if all of them aren't a fucking rock star, you never know. You could potentially be sitting on a lottery pick late in the first round or somewhere between 12 and 17. And so I think there's going to be a lot of teams that are looking at this upcoming draft, especially as we get later and later into the season, that are going to say, man, do we really want to go balls to the wall and try to, barely make the playoffs just so we have to go, visit San Francisco or go play up in fucking, Philly or go play an Arrowhead in the postseason and get bounced, get massacred, get fucking disrespected, get beat down, get embarrassed on national television? Or do we start to sit down our QB? Do we start to pull out some of our wide receivers? Do we start to fucking put some of our offensive linemen on IR so they can get ready for the next season? And potentially we get one of these high draft picks. And, like I said, it's not a guarantee, but they're going to treat it like a fucking draft lottery. They're going to treat it like a golden ticket. Again, nobody thought that, these QBs would come in the way they did it and change the life of their franchise. But guess what? They did. You don't always need a first overall pick. Sometimes the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth quarterback taken in the draft is actually better than the first quarterback taken in the draft. Ask Baker Mayfield's bitch ass. So, with that being said, I'm looking at the Rams. I'm looking at that kid out of USC, Caleb Williams. Everyone swears he's going to be the next Patrick Mahomes in this league. We'll see. But when you got a kid like that playing in your own backyard, literally right there across the street at USC, and he's lighting college football on fire right now, along with a lot of other QBs who are out here just fucking murdering bitches on offense. And this is an offensive league now. We all know what it is. They changed all the rules and they changed all the penalties, so it's like it's hard to play defense more. It's harder than ever. This is a quarterback-driven league. This is a quarterback-driven offense. This is a pass-first environment that we are witnessing in the NFL right now. And a lot of these QBs are showing you every fucking Saturday that some of them probably have what it takes to run an NFL-style offense, especially when you have a coach like Shanahan, especially when you have a coach like McVay, especially when you have a coach like Andy Reid. You get the right quarterback with the right coach in the right system on a rookie contract and you put fucking weapons all around them. And you know what I mean? Like Kevin Garnett once said, anything is possible. And I think right now for a lot of these teams who are sitting with a mediocre quarterback who, always wants and is demanding more money like Matthew Stafford's bitch ass, you got to ask yourself, is he the future or is he just the right now? Is he the one I'm going to marry or is he just the one I'm fucking with right now? And I'm looking at Matthew Stafford, who's getting older and older, refuses to renegotiate his contract, and now he wants more money? And you can't put an offensive line around him? You could barely afford Aaron Donald? And Cooper Kupp's injured again? I'm telling you, I think the Rams are going to tank this season. I think they should. I think McVay deserves an opportunity to actually be able to draft his own quarterback and build a system around that quarterback. Because up to this point, the only thing he's ever been given is Jared Goff and fucking Matthew Stafford. He won a Super Bowl with one of them. You know what I mean? Which is, more than most coaches could do. But now, I would love to see the Rams get the number 1 overall pick in this year's NFL draft, take the kid from USC, Caleb Williams, put him in, McVay's offense on a rookie contract, with all the things they could put around him. You know what I mean? And just be able to load up in free agency. Man, in a McVay type of offense, in this type of fucking environment where everyone wants to fucking live and fucking breathe in LA, I'm telling you guys, I think the Rams could do something if they got the number 1 overall pick in this draft, and I think they should tank for it. We all know the Cardinals will. We all know the Bucks will. There's a bunch of teams that are probably going to tank this season, and I'm going to bet them every single week. and we'll talk about this in a minute, but we're going to bet on them every single week just to keep losing and losing and losing and losing. Because I think there's going to be some teams that are already tanking, like the Cardinals bitch ass, but I also think there's going to be teams in the second half of the season that are looking at their quarterback, looking at the contract, looking at, how much it's going to cost them to keep that contract or renegotiate that contract. They're looking at their division. They're looking at the loaded AFC, which is fucking stacked with quarterbacks. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of them are going to have to make that decision. Do we have what it takes as currently constructed to compete with Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert? I mean, the list goes on. These QBs are young. Some of them aren't even 25. Look at Justin Herbert. Look at Trevor Lawrence. Look at Joe Burrow. Just turned 25. I mean, there are a lot of young QBs that are going to be here for the next decade. Josh Allen ain't going nowhere. Joe Burrow, just got the biggest contract in NFL history. Patrick Mahomes is going to continue to win Super Bowls. Trevor Lawrence is coming up. Justin Herbert is coming up. And now we got, the Colts got a new QB. You got, Texans just got a new QB. Again, these quarterbacks are coming. And I think there's a lot of other teams in the NFL that are sitting on a mediocre QB that is over here demanding more money. You got to be fucking kidding me. It's already hard enough to compete with Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, and Trevor Lawrence. But now you guys expect me to compete with those guys in the postseason with a quarterback that just continuously, wants and demands more money? You got to be fucking kidding me. So that's why I think the Rams should tank for that number 1 overall pick, and that's why I understand why the Bucks, the Cardinals, and a few others are already starting to tank from the fucking jump, because they're all looking at this kid from USC, Caleb Williams, but they're looking at the kid from UNC, they're looking at the kid from Florida State, they're looking at the kid at Notre Dame, they're looking at, again, that kid in Colorado, Deion Sanders' son, and there's a lot of QBs that are going to be taken in the first round this year, and because of that, both to start the year and to finish the year, there's going to be a lot of teams that are tanking. And sometimes it's not the coach's fault. Sometimes it's the GM. Sometimes it's the president. Sometimes it's the owner that goes in there and says, hey, we're going to put you on IR. Hey, we're going to put him on IR. Hey, we're going to sit his ass down. Hey, we're going to cut this motherfucker. And they're doing it because they're already getting ready for next season, because they know, as currently presented, as currently constructed, they don't have what it takes to compete in the postseason. Not against Joe Burrow, not against Josh Allen, not against Patrick Mahomes, not against the Chargers, and not against the Jaguars. These teams are only getting better. Their quarterbacks are only gaining momentum and getting more experience, and they're going to be here for the next decade to come. So with that being said, I think the Rams should tank this season. I don't trust Matthew Stafford's bitch ass, especially when he has no pass protection up front from his offensive linemen. I have all the love and respect for Aaron Donald. I think he's one of the best defensive players in NFL history, but he can't do it all by himself. He needs other people like a Jalen Ramsey on the back end of the defense to hold it down for him too. And I think McVay is starting a bunch of rookies. They have a bunch of guys who are first-time starters. And I think he's just using this season to evaluate who's going to be here next season and who's not. Meanwhile, you have the Seahawks that finally made the playoffs when everyone thought they were going to be a lottery, picking team last season. Geno Smith came out of nowhere, got most improved player of the year. You know what I mean? Set the league on fire by his standards anyways. And, he's trying to resurrect his career right now up in Seattle. And I think they are they're tailoring the offense for him more and more. They're giving him a strong run game. They love to run the ball right now. Just make sure you don't run it into Aaron Donald. But, again, they gave him another, top fly wide receiver on offense right now. So I think the Seahawks are going to do good this year. I do expect that they're going to make the playoffs again, especially in a weak-ass NFC where there's really only like 3 or 4 good teams. So you're going to have 3 mediocre teams make the playoffs again. I think the Seahawks will be one of them. I think they're really good. I don't think they're elite. I don't think they're at the top. And I don't think they have what it takes to compete with San Francisco and the 49ers or Philadelphia and the Eagles right now. I still think they have, some more to go before they get to that level. But are they going to be good in the regular season? Absolutely. I think Geno Smith can win anywhere between 8 to 10 games this year, maybe 11, just checking their schedule. But I think they can win at least 8 to 10 games, maybe 11 or 12, who knows. And I think they're only going to be a small favorite, and sometimes they're going to be an underdog in a lot of those games. So I plan to make a lot of money betting the Seahawks this season, and I plan on making a shit ton of money, a fuck ton, betting on the Rams to lose every game this season. Now, if they come out like gangbusters without fucking Cooper Kupp and with a bunch of rookies on defense and they pull this shit off, then hey, that means McVay is not tanking and he's still going to put up a good fight from now until the rest of the season. We'll see what happens in the second half. But to start off the season, I think this is all Seahawks right here. Now, the -5 I don't like, so this is another game where I'm probably going to take the money line. Again, I'll post my ticket before the game start as best I can, so that way you guys can see, how much money I put on everything. But right now, the money line is sitting at, right now, around -250. So that's another one. So I'm taking, so far, my first two picks of the NFL season, I'm taking the Chiefs money line around -250, and I'm taking the Seahawks money line -250. Next up, we have the Panthers and the Falcons. I don't give a shit about none of these motherfuckers. I think they're both bad teams. I think Bryce Young is a really good quarterback, number one pick taken in the draft. He looked good at Ohio State, but he's really small. This dude is a fucking midget. He's only like 5'8", 5'9". I'm taller than this motherfucker. You gotta be kidding me. I know everyone thinks that it's okay to draft a small QB because look at fucking Drew Brees and look at fucking Russell Wilson, and you know what I mean? If they can do it, like Kevin Garnett said, anything is possible. No, the fuck it isn't. I think Bryce Young is too small for this league. I think he's a really smart quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback, but I'm not sure he's ever going to be elite. He played with a lot of talent up there in Ohio State. He had basically 5-star receivers, 5-star defense, 5-star offensive linemen. I mean, he had a loaded roster at Ohio State. But now he's going to one of the worst rosters in the NFL. And I think it's going to be a rough season for Bryce Young. I don't see them winning many games this year. He's going to make a lot of mistakes. I'm not sure about his offensive line. What I've seen in the preseason, most of his receivers suck or they're just stupid. They don't know what routes they're running. They don't know where they're supposed to be. They still have a lot of timing issues. I get it. It's a young QB. It's a new head coach, new offensive coordinator, new positions coach. Everything's brand new. And there's going to be a lot of growing pains and there's going to be a lot of hard lessons, this season. But on the other side, we have the Falcons, and they also have a new QB. And they also have a new fucking offensive coordinator with new fucking skill set positions. So I think this is a game of two bad teams. I'm not sure who's going to really win. I do like the first round pick from the Falcons this year. They got a really good running back. I think he's going to be top 5, at least top 10 in the league in rushing this year. I expect a lot out of him, but I don't know. I lean Falcons, but I'm not going to play this game. I think this is just a game of two bad teams. I think the Falcons probably have the better team because I think they just have more. I think they have more weapons on offense. I'm not sure about the defenses. I think they're both trash, but I think the Falcons have the better team on offense, and I think they're going to be able to run the ball. And I think the dude in Atlanta is going to have a monster day. But I don't really want to bet this game because I only want to bet on really bad teams versus a good team, or two good teams facing each other when I think one of them is overrated. So this doesn't fall into my skill set. This is not a game I'm gonna watch. I'll probably fucking TiVo it and watch it later just to see if I spot anything. But other than that, this is a hard pass for me. This is just two garbage teams that nobody gives a fuck about. So next, moving on. Bengals at the Browns. Very interesting. Joe Burrow just got that massive big ass contract. He's coming off that calf injury. Then on the other side, we got what was the quarterback? Deshaun Watson, who's trying to resurrect his career in Cleveland the same way Geno Smith is doing up in Seattle. I think Myles Garrett is one of the best defensive players in the league. They got the Smith guy on defense to help him out on the other end of things. They got Amari Cooper on offense, even though I think he was overrated in Dallas, but that's just me. But I think he'll be good. I think Njoku is going to be a really good tight end for them / wide receiver. And I seen a little bit of Deshaun Watson in the preseason, and he looks like he's got that juice again. He looks like he's ready to bounce back. He's out here on Twitter every day talking about how he's gonna fucking, take the league by fire this year, and he's just gonna go balls to the wall this season. Because again, he's trying to validate his career. I don't even remember the last time he had a playoff victory. So he has a lot to prove. Again, when he got his contract, it was like the biggest contract in quarterback history, in NFL history. I think it was like $250 million fully guaranteed. So they really put a lot of money behind him, and now it's time for him to show up and show out. I think he will. I am making this my third bet of the NFL season. I am taking the Cleveland Browns to win this one. I am taking the money line currently, since he's favored by 2, but I got the Browns winning this. And I think the main reason is Joe Burrow's calf injury really concerns me, and I don't trust his offensive line. He's still the most sacked quarterback in the league next to Russell Wilson the past 2 seasons. And I get it. They made it to a Super Bowl with a bad offensive line, but I don't know if that was just a miracle or that's just that Joe Burrow magic. I don't know what to really attribute that to. But what I'm going to tell you guys right now is the Cleveland Browns have beaten the Bengals over and over and over again since fucking Joe Burrow got there, because their offensive line is always fucking trash. I think Myles Garrett is going to get to his ass. I think Myles Garrett and that defense is going to sack his ass. And I see Deshaun Watson putting on a show. And I think he's going to I think he's going to put some highlights on display. So I'm giving Deshaun Watson 1 game and 1 game only to show me that he's got the juice like that again, to show me that he's got the fire again, and to show me that he has what it takes again to take his team to the postseason. So for me, I'm going to take the Browns to upset the Bengals at home, even though they're the home team, and I'm taking the Browns not just on the +2. I'm taking the Browns on the money line. I'm going to get plus money, probably plus 115, plus 120. So I'm taking the Browns at home to beat the Bengals. Next up, we have the Jags and the Colts. I'm not sure about this. Everyone keeps telling me on Twitter, and all these sports analysts and all these bitches on TV keep trying to tell me that the Jaguars are going to win this game. Oh, Trevor Lawrence is going to take another step up. Doug Peterson isn't a bad coach. He just had a bad GM in Philly. And look what he was able to do with Carson Wentz. He almost made him MVP one year. Yada, yada, yada. All these weapons, and they got Ridley, and they got this guy and that guy, and, the defense is playing better. And, everyone's hyping up the Jags this season. Meanwhile, the Colts are sitting there at home with a brand new rookie QB who everyone swears is like a fucking, a poor man's Cam Newton, like a smaller version of Cam Newton. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a fan of the Colts QB. I don't like it when a quarterback likes to run head first into something, and it feels like that QB in Indy. He does remind me of Cam Newton, because he refuses to learn how to fucking slide. Every time he fucking runs for the first down, he's always running head first. You know what I mean? And then they want to act all fucking, all shocked later when they have fucking all these concussions and CTE scans and stuff. I'm telling you guys, I'm not a fan of his mechanics. I'm not a fan of his footwork, and I'm not a fan of his offensive line. I think he's going to throw a lot of picks this season. Wouldn't surprise me if Indy led the league in picks this season. And I just think he has terrible mechanics, terrible footwork. I don't trust his offensive line. His receivers, they got some juice, but sometimes they don't know what route they're running either. So sometimes there's miscommunication on the offense there too. So I think it's going to take a few seasons before they get everything on track. So we'll see. But I do think the Jaguars should win this game. Should. So I might take them on the money line as well. This is going to be the biggest money line, second biggest money line bet I make this weekend, if I do make him. And I'm probably going to take them it's going to be something crazy like minus 300. So you know what? I'm going to call an audible here, and I'm just going to tell you I'm probably going to stay away. Because at minus 5, that money line is probably going to be something stupid like minus 300. And I don't think I want to lay minus 300 on the Jags money line to beat the Colts. I think the Jags are a good team. I think Trevor Lawrence is the truth. I love his mechanics. I love his footwork. I do think he has better wide receivers now this season. I think him and his head coach are getting more cohesiveness this season. but I just don't know about laying 300 on the money line. But I also don't like the -5. If I do bet the game, it'll probably be only the -5, just because -300 seems like a lot. So, I might bet it, I might not. But I'll post all my tickets again the night before so you guys can see every bet I make. So right now, put the Jags and Colts as the question mark. Right now, that's a question mark. Next up, Bucks at Vikings. Nobody cares. That's a hard pass for me. I don't trust Baker Mayfield's bitch ass. But, the only thing that, what's his name? Kirk Cousins, the only thing he's ever done for me is let me down. That's the only thing he fucking does. This dude is such a fucking disaster waiting to happen. Only thing he does is fucking choke and fail in the postseason. This dude is overrated. This dude is washed. To me, he's probably a never has been. I can't believe Washington gave him all that money with their bitch ass. And now the Vikings, man, the Vikings, people don't remember, but when they had Teddy Bridgewater, they were on the cusp of being a Super Bowl team. They had an elite defense. They had a strong offensive line. They had an amazing run game. They had good wide receivers. They had Stephon Diggs back in the day. Man, I'm telling you guys right the fuck now. People didn't want to believe in Teddy Bridgewater, and I understand. But that team was loaded. That team was fucking stacked. When Kirk Cousins first got there, the Minnesota Vikings were a fucking, they were a contender. They were a playoff team. They were on the verge of competing for a Super Bowl when Kirk Cousins first got there. And then what happened? Just like fucking Matthew Stafford, just like a lot of these other QBs, he kept demanding more money, and I want a bigger contract and another contract, everything fully guaranteed. And for what? So he can just keep choking in the postseason? You gotta fucking be kidding me. So I am not a fan of Kirk Cousins and his bitch ass. I try to stay away. I don't fade him, because Kirk Cousins has this fucking thing where he'll win a lot of games on upset alert, but then when it matters most, all he does is fucking choke and fucking fumble the ball or throw an interception in the postseason. So with Kirk Cousins, he's probably going to win, 6, 7, 8, 9 games this year again. He's going to find a way to pull it off because he wants to make sure that he wins enough games so his team can't draft a new QB. But the problem is, this is the deepest fucking draft for QBs in the last fucking, long ass time. One of the deepest fucking drafts for QBs in NFL history. I'm telling you, there's going to be 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 rookie QBs taken this year. And so I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to be able to avoid it. I don't think he's going to be able to dodge it. Even if he does find a way to win fucking 11 games again, that team's still probably going to take a QB, a rookie QB in the first round. And then they'll be able to go forward from there and be able to, put weapons around him, because Kirk Cousins is not the future. Kirk Cousins is not the truth. Kirk Cousins is not the answer. He is not the solution. He is a fucking overrated quarterback. He is a fucking has-been. He's a fucking wash-up. Honestly, he's a never been. He's never been elite. I've never considered Kirk Cousins a fucking top 5 QB in this league. Not for one fucking millisecond. Never. I don't even know if he's ever been a top 10 QB. Maybe barely, 9 or 10. But I don't think anyone's ever looked at Kirk Cousins and said he's top 5 or top 10 in the league. The problem, though, is the problem for Minnesota and the problem for Washington back in the day wasn't the fact that he's not a top 5 and barely a top 10 QB, probably top 15 at best. The problem with Kirk Cousins is he always wants to get paid like he is the best QB in the fucking league. And every time he gets a contract negotiation, every time he's up for a contract extension, he always wants to get fucking max dollars, which I understand. That's what you're supposed to do if you're his agent. But if you're the team, it's like, seriously? We're giving him Patrick Mahomes money? We're giving him Aaron Rodgers money? We're giving him Tom Brady money? We're giving him fucking, elite QB money? For what? He hasn't done anything. But he wins enough games so you can't draft his replacement, and that's how he makes his money. Because he knows he's going to choke in the playoffs. He knows he's going to fumble. He knows he's going to throw a pick six. That he knows he's going to fuck something up when it matters the most. But in the regular season, he'll be damned if he doesn't win enough games to compete for the postseason, and that way you can't ever draft his replacement because you're going to get a late first round draft pick, and at that point you might as well just keep him. And so this year, unfortunately for him, I think it's unavoidable. I don't think he's going to be able to dodge nothing. I think the team will take a rookie QB this year in the draft. I don't know if it's going to be Deion Sanders' or the kid from UNC or the kid from Duke or the kid from fucking Notre Dame, the kid from Florida State. I don't know where they're going to be in the draft, but I guarantee you they're going to take a fucking rookie QB because this is the opportunity. This is their chance. This is the fucking most loaded draft for QBs in a long time. And I think the Vikings have to take advantage of it. Meanwhile, the Bucks, they're already tanking. They're going for fucking Caleb Williams at USC. They're going for the first pick in the draft. Baker Mayfield and fucking the other rookie, other fucking dumbass QB, they both suck. So this is a battle of fucking Kirk Cousins trying to fucking squeeze out as much money as possible and get one last contract fucking extension if possible. And I don't think the Vikings should. I'd rather start a rookie at quarterback than give him any more fucking money. Get out of here. I don't even want him to be a fucking role model. I don't even want him to be a mentor. I don't even want his bitch ass in the building. I'd lock his ass out like San Francisco did with Jimmy Garoppolo. I fucking buy him a plane ticket and be like, bye Felicia, the fuck out of here. I don't want you teaching my rookie QB anything. What are you going to do? Teach him how to suck? Teach him how to fumble? Teach him how to throw a pick six in the postseason for 10 consecutive years? No, bro. Get the fuck out of here. We don't even want you in the building, bro. And then Baker Mayfield, you got to be kidding me. They only brought him in so he could throw interceptions and tank this season. So this is a battle of fucking just two overrated QBs, two guys who are, again, they're not washed up, they're not has-been, there never was. Baker Mayfield was never a great QB. You know what I mean? I know he was a number one overall pick in the draft, but even back then, a lot of people like me were saying overrated as fuck, and I hate his bitch ass attitude. With Kirk Cousins, this dude, Kirk Cousins, he's a fucking salesman. He's a hustler. He tries to convince you that he's the QB that's going to take you over the mountaintop. You know what I mean? Like he's going to be the guy that takes you to that next step, that next level, help you get to the fucking, the playoffs, the postseason, help you win a Super Bowl. Like, nah, bro, not when you're out here demanding Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes money, because you can't do the things they can do. So why should we pay you the same? But for some reason, these dumbass teams like Washington and the Vikings continue to fall for that fucking used car sales pitch, and it fucking works for him and his family. So kudos for him. He made a couple $100 million in his NFL career, but it's time for the Vikings to move on, draft his replacement, and then next year, don't let him in the building. Buy him and his wife a plane ticket and tell him to get the fuck on out of there. We're going to start a rookie at QB next year. I don't know if it's the kid from USC. I don't care if it's Deion Sanders' son. Fucking start somebody. Because anything's better than Kirk Cousins' bitch ass. And like I said, I think Baker Mayfield is only being brought in there to fail. I think they intentionally want him to fail. I think they absolutely want a high draft pick. Not the coach, not the fucking GM, but the fucking owner, the management. Because they're looking, for a way to rebuild. And the easiest way to rebuild is through the draft. And then if you could have a bunch of money freed up in salary cap next season, then that's when you can start to move forward with your franchise and your organization. So I'm staying away from this game. These are fucking two losers. I'm going to bet the Bucks to basically lose all season, but not against Kirk Cousins because the only thing he knows how to do is let us down. So in Kirk Cousins, we do not trust. We don't trust him to win, and we don't trust him to lose. Because he wins when he should lose, and he loses when everyone thinks he's going to win. Fuck that shit. Staying away. Next up, Titans at the Saints. I'm betting this one. I'm taking the Saints on the -3. I consider taking it on the money line only because I think it's going to be a close scoring game. So I might just take the money line at -150, or I could just end up taking the spread at -3. I haven't decided. I haven't made up my mind. I do think this is going to be a fucking back and forth. I think it's going to be a grudge match. I think it's going to be fought in the trenches. It's going to be a battle between Derrick Henry versus the Saints defensive line and the Saints offensive line giving Derek Carr some pass protection. I think the better quarterback in this game is Derek Carr, but I also think the best player in the game overall is Derrick Henry. So even though the Saints have the better quarterback and the better offensive line and maybe the better defensive line, the Titans, they have that guy. They have the best player on the field that game. And so we'll see if the Saints could at least slow the Titans down. I think the way you beat the Titans in this game is you basically hold them to field goals. You make the Titans score field goals left and right. You're not going to stop Derrick Henry from for rushing for 200 yards. I think Derrick Henry easily rushes for $150, maybe up to 200 yards this game. But the goal is just stop him from getting to the end zone and force the Titans to kick a field goal every single time. Because I think the Derek Carr and this Saints offense, especially in Week 5 when Alvin Kamara finally comes back, but now he has fucking Michael Thomas. He has a bunch of good wide receivers on that team, and he has a solid defense. I think the Saints are going to score touchdowns. And I think that's the difference in this ball game. I think the Titans are going to get stuck kicking field goals, and I think the Saints are going to be out here scoring touchdowns, and that's why I think the Saints are going to win, and why I think I can see them covering the -3. But again, to be safe, I might just take the money line because it's going to be a fast game. It's going to go by fast because Derrick Henry is probably going to get at least 20 carries, rush for at least 150 yards, and I think the Saints are going to want to run the ball too, because they don't want to put their defense on the field over and over again, and have them be exhausted when Derrick Henry comes back on the field. You know what I mean? So you want to give your defense an opportunity to rest, but I honestly think Derek Carr and the Saints should be able to throw the ball all over the place because the Titans defense is no longer elite. The Titans defense is not fucking legendary. The Titans defense is not top 5 to me. It's not even top 10 to me. It's like top 15, top 20, honestly. So, and again, I really do trust the Saints offensive line. I think the Saints have a top 5, maybe top 10 offensive line in this league. Versus the Titans, I think they have a bottom 15 defense, honestly. I don't think they're elite. I don't think they're legendary. And I don't think they are as good as they once was. Because once again, here we go with Tannehill making too much money and Derrick Henry being the highest paid running back in NFL history. And again, you got Tannehill out here. What does he want? More fucking money. For what? You don't even do nothing. You just give the ball to Derrick Henry. Fuck out of here with your bitch ass. Here's another one. Titans, if they don't make the playoffs again and they don't make it to the postseason, they need to immediately draft a rookie QB. The fuck out of here. Tannehill makes too much money for doing absolutely fucking nothing. And I get it. I think they got Julio Jones or something like that. Look, man, if Julio Jones, if he looks like the old Julio Jones from back in the day when he was with Atlanta and fucking, what was that fucking bitch-ass motherfucking QB? What was his name? Matt Ryan. If he looks like the fucking Julio Jones he was with Matt Ryan, and Tannehill's out here looking like an elite QB, sheesh. No mames, I might fucking, if Julio Jones looks like a dog, if he's out here looking like a beast, and he's out here killing the Saints D with fucking Derrick Henry, and they look fucking unstoppable between the two, then you know what? I might take the Titans the rest of the season. But if not, if all I see on Sunday is just Derrick Henry, and Tannehill can't even make a simple completion, then no. I think the Titans are going to miss the playoffs again, and I think the Titans need to look for Tannehill's replacement immediately in this year's deep QB draft. Meanwhile, with the Saints, I think the Saints are going to win the division. I think the Saints are going to win this game, and I think it's because Derek Carr has a lot of offensive weapons like Michael Thomas, and he has a top 5, top 10 offensive line. And Derek Carr, when you give him pass protection and you give him fucking, his receivers time to separate, I think he's going to score a lot of TDs this season. So I like the Saints a lot. I might take the spread, but I might take the money line. Haven't decided. Again, all my picks come out Saturday night. Next up, 49ers and Steelers. I fucking love this game. I love this game with all my heart. I am fucking on 49ers. I'm on Niner gang this season. I think the 49ers, I think they have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl. I want them to win the Super Bowl. I love what they did with Brock Purdy. Once again, Kyle Shanahan looks like a fucking genius. He looks like fucking Mozart with the playbook. He looks like fucking Beethoven when it comes to play calling. This dude is out here like fucking, you know what I mean? Like, he's a fucking artist. He's painting a masterpiece like fucking Da Vinci. This dude is on something. I like the 49ers a lot. I know the Steelers are at home. I have a lot of respect for their defense. I love TJ Watt. I love fucking Mike Tomlin. I think he's the guy. I hope he has success this season. We'll see what Kyle Pitts looks like. I think he's overhyped in my opinion. I don't think Pitts is, I don't know. Pitts is okay. I mean, he's alright. But again, is he a top 5, top 10 QB? I don't even know if he's top 15 QB, honestly. Like, for sure, he's not top 10. He's not a top 10 QB. So the question is he even top 15? I think I could probably name 5, 10 QBs who I'd rather have over him. I'm going to take Lamar Jackson. I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to take Joe Burrow. I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to take Josh Allen. I'll probably take maybe Jared Goff over him. I'm going to take Jalen Hurts over him. I'm going to take Justin Herbert over him. I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers over him. So, yeah, Kyle Pitts, maybe he's a top 15 QB. Maybe. And that's a big-ass maybe. I'm not even sure if he is. And he's going against arguably the number 1 or number 2 defense in all of football. Because the top 2 defenses right now, top 3 is probably all in the NFC. I think the NFC has the most elite defenses in the league right now between the Cowboys, the fucking 49ers, and the Eagles. I think those 3 defenses are the most stacked. And you're telling me a guy who's maybe a top 15 QB, maybe not, is going to win this game at home against them? I don't know. And now Bosa finally got that fucking max money that he's been looking for, so he's going to play. If Nick Bosa wasn't going to play in this game, I would stay away. I'm being honest. If there was no Nick Bosa in this game, I would have stayed away. But now that Nick Bosa is playing in this game, hell nah. I'm taking the 49ers. And I'm probably taking the 2.5, or I might just take the money line just in case Kyle Pitts tries to fuck me and do a fucking, last second field goal to screw the spread over. So again, I'll let you guys know if I'm betting the spread or not. All my picks come out Saturday night. Next up, Cardinals at the Commanders. This is a trap game for me. I think the Cardinals are going to try to lose every game this season, but I don't know if the Washington Commanders, they're not elite to me. So yeah, I get it. I'm telling you, I'm probably going to fade the Cardinals on 99% of their games this year. I think they're going to go 1-16. I really fucking do. I think they're done with Kyler Murray's bitch ass. He's another fucking, not a washed up, not a fucking has-been. He's also a never was. I never thought his bitch ass was elite. I always thought he had a bitch ass attitude, and I never liked his ass, even coming out of college. I think this dude is whack as fuck. I think he's overrated, overhyped, little small ass, midget ass, bitch ass QB. Never liked him, never been about nothing. Everyone tried to hype him up just because, he put up some numbers in college. Bro, that was college. This is the pros. These are some grown men you're playing with. I think he has a fucked up attitude, fucked up mentality, thinks he's the fucking shit, thinks he's fucking, the next guy up. Bro, sit down somewhere with your midget ass. I can't stand Kyler Murray's bitch ass. Now they're putting him on the PUP. He's not going to play for the first probably half of the season. I think the Cardinals are trying to move on from him. Him, his fucking bitch ass father, his bitch ass agent. I hate his whole fucking family. I hate everything about him. He's fucking, he's Baker Mayfield 2.0 or not the same thing, but like those are 2 QBs I really hate in the league right now. Because I hate how they carry themselves. I hate how they talk to the media. I hate how they act around their fucking teammates. I hate how it's all about the money. It's never about the team. All they care about is the bag. They don't care about their legacy. They care more about fucking Instagram followers than they care about winning Super Bowl rings. This dude's not it. He's not a franchise. He's not a leader. You know what I mean? Just because he has a deep ass voice don't mean he's a fucking man. Like Jalen Hurts is a leader. This dude is just a midget with a deep voice who thinks he can talk to people any way he can. Nah, bro. I'm not a fan of him. I'm just not a fan. So I think the Cardinals are going to go 1-16. Maybe at best they win like 2 or 3 games. That's at the most they win 2 or 3 games. But I think this is one that's clearly going for Caleb Williams at USC. Washington should win this game with ease. But the problem is I can't bet Washington because -7 is a lot. I think the money line at -300 is a lot. And to be honest, let's not sit here and pretend that the Commanders are elite. Don't sit here and try to pretend that the Washington Commanders are one of the best teams in the league. And don't try to sit here and pretend that the Washington Commanders are even going to compete in their own division. The Cowboys are better. The Eagles are better. The Giants are better. They're going to be in the draft, and I think they also go for a new QB. So, especially if they end up with a top 10 pick. They have to go for a new QB. You just have to. He's an okay QB, but I think there's probably 5, 6, 7, 8 QBs in the draft who are already better than him. That's just my opinion. Okay, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying the guys that are in college right now already look better than him. There is a lot of talent, with these QBs in college right now, and I think a lot of them. I think Ron Rivera deserves a shot at being able to pick his own QB and being able to start from scratch, and he hasn't been able to do that since Cam Newton. And I think that's sad. I think Ron Rivera deserves a better shot, and he deserves to be able to be a head coach with someone better than Howell. So I would love to see Ron Rivera in a situation where they keep him next season. They allow him to assess and draft his own QB and set up a team around him. I would love Ron Rivera to be able to get like a fresh start and being able to like construct a roster around a young man, a young QB. Because I think Ron Rivera is a good man. I think he's a good coach. And I think he would be a great mentor for any young QB. Meanwhile, Cardinals, get rid of Kyler Murray's bitch ass. Start over, start fresh, tank every game you can, go 1-16, grab Caleb Williams, fire your coach, fire the assistants, fire the general manager, fire everybody, start from scratch, start all over again, and see what you can do. That'd be my advice for the Arizona Cardinals, because right now that shit's a dumpster fire. Anyone who ever backed or supported Kyler Murray should be fucking escorted out of the building with him and his midget ass. So, no, done with that, but I'm staying away. Just because, again, Commanders are not an elite team. I think they're the worst team in their division. I think they're also going to be drafting for a top 10 pick. So I'm not saying they're tanking. I'm just saying they suck. They're not tanking. They just suck. And I think at the end of the season, they're going to realize they suck, and then they're going to start tanking. Because the Giants are better in their division, the Eagles are better in their division, and the Cowboys are better in their division. So at best, they're able to get a wild card seed. But honestly, I would just prefer for them to get a top 10 pick and allow Coach Rivera, Ron Rivera, to be able to start over brand new, fresh with a young rookie QB and be able to construct a roster around him. I would love Ron Rivera to get that opportunity. I hope he doesn't get fired at the end of the season if they suck, because I don't think that's on him. I think it's the fact that he hasn't had a good quarterback since Cam Newton was in his prime. And I think it's hard to judge a coach if he's good or not if all you do is give him fucking, backup QBs and guys who are constantly hurt like Cam Newton was. So I'm staying away from this game, but moving forward, just know I'm betting the Cardinals to lose every game this season. Because, again, I think they're done with Kyler Murray's bitch ass. Next up, and we're almost at the finish line, Texans and Ravens. So pay attention to this. I am actually considering making the Ravens my maxed out all-in bet for the week. Right now, the spread is minus 9.5. I'm going to take the the money line, probably around minus 500, and I'm probably going to lay down $1,000. So write that down. I am making the Ravens my maxed out, all in, money line bet of the week, minus 500. I'm going to lay down $1,000 to win $200. That's a 20% ROI on my money, and I'm laying down pretty much almost 40 to 50% of my entire bankroll, and I'm going to lay it right here, right now, on the Ravens week 1 to beat the Texans. I think CJ Stroud is another small QB. I think he's going to be a garbage QB this season. I think his offensive line sucks. I think the defense is really good. They got that kid Will Anderson, and they have some other key pieces on defense, but I think their DBs suck. I think their linebacking position is fucking the weakest part of their defense. Their offensive line sucks. I don't trust their head coach or their offensive coordinator right now. They have to prove something to me. I got to see how they do with in-game decisions. And again, I think CJ Stroud to have to go into Baltimore to play the Ravens week 1, and Lamar Jackson has the most loaded roster, the most offensive weapons he's ever had in his career. I think Ravens are going to blow him out. I think they're going to win this game like 35-17, 35-10. It wouldn't shock me if the Ravens put up 40 up in this motherfucker. I really do think the Ravens are going to show up and show out. I think they're going to blow the doors off this building. They're going to break the brakes off these bitches, and they're going to destroy the Texans week 1. So I have the Ravens winning something crazy like 42-17, and I don't think it's even going to be close. But the reason I have to take the money line is in case the Ravens start playing their backups at the end of the game. They're going to leave CJ Stroud because they want him to get as many reps as possible in order to develop. And I don't want there to be a backdoor situation where the Ravens win 28-21 because at the end of the game, the Ravens backup defense gave up a fucking stupid touchdown. So I hate the -10 for that reason because you can get backdoored really easily. So I'm just taking the money line. But in order to make good money, I have to lay down heavy money. And that's why we're doing this podcast. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to be ruthless. And at times we have to be fucking violent if we want to make a lot of money. So I'm laying $1,000 on the money line at -500 to win $200 profit. That's a 20% ROI on my money. And I really like that bet right there. If I can find a cheaper money line somewhere else, I will. But I think the average money line right now is at -500. I don't want to lay down 1,500 only because there's other games that I really like. So again, I have to manage the bankroll accordingly. But I'm gonna lay down 1,000, and I'm gonna lay it down week 1, Baltimore Ravens money line to blow the fucking brakes off the Texans pussy. They're gonna destroy them. CJ Stroud is in for a world of pain. He's not ready for that smoke. He's not ready for that action. That dude's about to get romped week 1. And I think the Texans are going to struggle all year long. So I think that's a team right there that they're not tanking. It's kind of like Washington. They just suck. So go Ravens. And I think Odell Beckham, I think a lot of these guys, I think they're going to show up and show out. And I think it's going to be a celebration in Baltimore this weekend. I really do. Next up, Packers at the Bears. All right, Packers at the Bears are interesting. I got Packers winning the division. I think Justin Fields is really good. I don't know if he's really good. I think his receivers are really good, but I think his defense still sucks. I think his defense is still overrated. This is not the 1985 Bears. This is a horrible defense. I think his offensive line is getting better. His wide receivers are definitely much better, but I'm not sure about this defense, and I'm still not sure about the coach. I'm going with the Packers because I think the Packers, even though Justin Fields is probably the better QB, I think the Packers have also, just with the Saints, I think they have a top 5, top 10 offensive line in football. I think that's why, in my opinion, the Saints are going to win a lot of games. The Saints are going to win a lot of games this year, and I also think the Packers are going to win a lot of games this year because I've seen the first-string quarterbacks and the first-string offensive linemen go against first-string defensive linemen in the preseason. It's a small sample size, but from what I saw, it is clear to me, abundantly clear, that Bakati, however you say his name is, Bakati, that guy that Aaron Rodgers wants the Jets to trade for, it is clear to me that the Packers still have a top 5 offensive line in football. I think it's top 10 at least. I think the Saints have at least a top 10 offensive line. I think the Packers probably have a top 5 offensive line. Jordan Love is going to get all day in the fucking pocket to throw. I do not love Jordan Love. I think he's whack. I don't think he's really that accurate. I think when you force him to scramble and you force him out of the pocket, he makes a lot of stupid decisions. I think the Packers are going to win the division, but I think they're going to lose in the first round. I do not think Jordan Love is that guy. I do not think he's elite. And people forget his last year in college, he led the nation in interceptions. There's a fucking reason. This dude is not fucking. He's not smart He's not smart with ball placement. He doesn't know how to really lead his receivers anywhere other than into a fucking tackle or an interception. I'm not a fan of Jordan Love. But because his offensive line is top 5 and because it's so elite, I think he's going to dink and dunk all the way into the fucking end zone. And I have the Packers winning this game. If they lose, it's going to be because of Jordan Love. So to me, this is a prove-it game for Jordan Love because the Bears' defensive line is not spectacular. Their defense, as a whole is not fucking amazing. It's probably average to mediocre. If Jordan Love can't score at least 3 or 4 TDs in this game, then I'm over him and I'm just going to fade him the rest of the fucking season. Because if Justin Fields beats you, and I know his wide receivers are really good now, but he doesn't have an amazing offensive line and his defense is trash. If Justin Fields beats you or he blows you out in Chicago, then I'm probably just going to fade Jordan Love for the rest of the season. So this is a prove-it-to-me game for him. As far as Justin Fields, I think he's improving. I do think he's a good quarterback, but I think he just needs more players around him. I think he still needs more weapons on offense. I think he needs to continue to improve his offensive line, and most importantly, he needs a strong defense. Because you can't expect Justin Fields to score 28 points a night. At some point, his defense has to get a fucking stop someday. So I'm going with the Packers for that reason. Next up, Raiders and Broncos. This is going to be another bet I have. I am betting the Raiders. I am taking the Raiders on the money line against the Broncos. I think Russell Wilson is washed. In this case, he is a has-been. He's not a never was. He actually won a Super Bowl, even though I think it's primarily because of the Legion of Boom. But I am taking the Raiders with Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know what's going to happen with their run game or any of that shit. What I do know is Jimmy Garoppolo and his head coach, what's his name? I got a brain fart now at the end of the clip. McDaniels. There you go. I think McDaniels is... I don't know if he's a good NFL coach, but I know he did good with Jimmy Garoppolo. He did good with Tom Brady, obviously. And I think the Raiders are going to catch a lot of teams off guard this season. I think their defense is strong. I think their offensive line is strong. I think they got some good wide receivers, obviously Devontae Adams. I think they got some really good tight ends. I think they got a lot of players on offense. They have obviously a good run game. And most importantly, Jimmy G is very familiar with the McDaniel-style offense. And I think there's going to be a lot of plays that they take from New England that they remember from back in the day. They're going to catch a lot of teams off guard. Furthermore, I think the Broncos, even though they do have a really great defense, I think they're just lost schematically. I think Sean Payton's going to go in there and change everything. I think Russell Wilson is going to get sacked all night because his offensive line is super trash, super garbage, probably bottom 10 in the league. I think he's going to get hit all day. I think he's going to throw some interceptions. He might throw a TD. You got Judy that's hurt right now, so he's not going to be in the game. I mean, you got to be kidding me. I can't believe the Broncos are favored at all in this game. So I'm taking the Raiders on the money line, plus 120, plus 130. Maybe I get lucky and get them plus 140, plus 150. So I'm taking that one. Next up, I got Dolphins at the Chargers. So Dolphins at the Chargers. Again, Tua, not a fan of Tua. He's not as bad as Kyler Murray or Baker Mayfield, but I'm just not a fan of him. I don't think he's an elite QB. I don't even think he's a good QB. I think he underthrows his receivers constantly. He's always hurt constantly, and he's not that mobile. He's not that agile. Meanwhile, I got Justin Herbert. I'm going to take Justin Herbert on the -3 here. I'm not going to take the money line. I think he has offensive weapons for days. I think he got Khalil Mack on defense. I think this motherfucker is ready to take that next step forward. I don't like his coach. I do think his coach is a dumbass in the big moments. But in games like this, he has weapons everywhere on defense, everywhere on offense. He has a good offensive line. I think the Chargers, I think they're going to win again. Now, Dolphins, look, I get it. Tyreek Hill is there. Jalen Ramsey is hurt, which is another reason I like the Chargers. But I think he has weapons and he could put up points. But the thing is, he could only do that if his offensive line hangs in there. And I just don't think he's an accurate quarterback. I think he underthrows Tyreek Hill time and time and time again. And last year, Tyreek Hill, he picked up a fumble from one of the other wide receivers and ran it in for a touchdown. They didn't really score that much. And now this year, the Chargers got better on defense and the Dolphins got worse on defense. You got to be fucking kidding me. Look, I think Dolphins are probably going to win a lot of games because you have Tyreek Hill and because you have a lot of offensive weapons. They did give up a lot to get Jalen Hurts, so we'll see. But I'm not sure if he's going to stay healthy all season. And that's the thing about him, is I just don't know if fucking Tua can stop fucking getting hurt. He misses games constantly. And he acts like he's mobile. He wants to run like he's Michael Vick. Bro, you isn't that. You're not him. So Tyreek Hill is him. You're not. You're the butler. Just give him the ball. Don't fucking try to do nothing spectacular. I am not a fan of Tua. I will bet the Dolphins to win games this year because I think they just have too much offense to miss the playoffs. But if Tua gets hurt again, it wouldn't be surprised if they do miss the playoffs. So I think they're going to beat the bad teams because they have too much offense. Like if the Dolphins played the Texans tomorrow, I think the Dolphins would murder them because it's just too much offense to fail and not make the playoffs. But when they play an elite defense or they play a good defense, I think that's where Tua struggles. And right now the Dolphins defense is not good. They gave up a lot for Jalen Ramsey and he's not there. So they have one good corner, but the other one sucks now. A bunch of rookies in the linebackers, not a good defensive front. Again, I think they are the definition of. I think they're going to be like the Minnesota Vikings last season. I think they're going to win a lot of games, but it's going to be primarily against bad teams. I think the good teams like the Niners, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, I think they're going to smoke them, especially when Chris Jones gets back. So I'm just not a fan. The Bengals, the Bills, when Von Miller's healthy, I think they're just going to beat them. So not a fan of Tua. I'm taking the Chargers -3. Next up, let me get the fucking Giants and the Cowboys. Ladies and gentlemen, I am taking the Cowboys. I'm going to take the -3. Cowboys are favored by 3.5. I'll show you guys my tickets on Saturday night, but I'm going to buy the hook and take it back down to -3. I don't like -3.5, but I do like -3. So I'm going to buy the hook when I go to the sports book later tonight, and I'm going to take the -3. When I take the -3, I'm going to lay, all my bets are going to be the same. It's going to be basically $100 to $200. Again, you guys will see my tickets, but all of these bets are basically $100 to $200 unless I take the money line. But yeah, I am going to take the Cowboys in this one. I'm going to take them on the -3 by the hook. I think Michael Parsons is going to be a beast. I think Trayvon Diggs is going to intercept the shit out of Danny Jones. I think Saquon Barkley is going to try his best, but I know he's frustrated right now. I think Danny Dimes out here got paid way too much money. I think he's overrated. I hope the Giants miss the playoffs. I don't think they will because the NFC is so fucking trash and garbage, but I hope they miss the playoffs. I think the saddest part about all of this is I think there's 9 QBs in the draft that are already better than Danny. I really do. I think Daniel Jones is overrated. I think he's whack as fuck. I don't think he's that guy. I think there's 6, 7, 8, 9 quarterbacks in the draft I'd rather have over him. But unfortunately, I think he's their guy. They already gave him the money, and I think that's going to doom this franchise. I think the Eagles will always be better than them. I think the Cowboys, for the most part, are going to be better than them. But I'm just not a fan of the Giants. And I think they're overrated. Again, this is a team I think the Giants are going to beat a lot of the bad teams because Saquon Barkley is a beast. And their defense is okay, but I don't think they're ready for this smoke. I don't think they're ready for this action. Dak Prescott has beaten the Giants 10 consecutive times. You gotta fucking be kidding me. I think he's gonna make it 11-12. I think he's just gonna keep on beating them. I think Michael Parsons is too much. I think Trayvon Diggs is gonna pick him. I like the Dallas Cowboys defense, and on offense, I think they're gonna be able to do something. So I'm gonna take the Cowboys on the -3. Second to last. Eagles at Patriots. So Eagles at Patriots, guys, I'm telling you guys right now, this is my second favorite bet of the week. I am taking Philly on the, man, I'm probably going to double down. I'm going to take Philly on the money line, and I might take Philly on the spread. The money line is going to be around 200, -250. So I might do that, and then I might put another 110 on the spread, -4. I love the Eagles in this matchup. I love the Eagles in this scenario. I love the Eagles to beat the fuck out of the New England Patriots at New England. I think Mac Jones' offensive line sucks. I think it's garbage. I think Patriots should be looking for a new quarterback this offseason. I think he's going to get smacked. I think he's going to get thrashed. I think he's going to get beat the fuck down. Over fucking rated. Not a fan of Mac Jones. Not a fan of Daniel Jones. Neither of these Joneses. I just don't think he's built for this league. I really don't. I think Jalen Hurts is going to go in there. I love their defensive line. I love everything about the team. Yeah, I think this is a blowout. So I'm going to take Philly on the money line, and I'm going to take Philly on the spread. I'm going to lay probably 300. 200 on the money line, 100 on the spread. I'm doubling down on this. And I almost made it my locked-in guaranteed bet of the week. I'm taking Lamar Jackson, but I was fucking inches away of making it the Eagles. Eagles are my second favorite bet for this entire week. And then last but not least, the Bills at the Jets. Ladies and gentlemen, I am taking Aaron Rodgers to upset the Buffalo Bills, which means I think Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and Tua all lose opening week of the NFL season. I'm taking the Jets mostly because there's no Von Miller. No Von Miller basically means no pressure, which means Aaron Rodgers has all day. I know his offensive line sucks. I know his offensive line is garbage. I know his offensive line is whack as fuck. But guess what? I think Aaron Rodgers knows this, and he's going to settle for a lot of screen passes. He's going to settle for a lot of quick passes. He's going to be mobile and agile outside the pocket. He's going to scrimmage and run around like he used to. And I think Aaron Rodgers is going to throw a couple touchdowns this game. Meanwhile, for the defense, I love the Jets defense. I think they're going to get to Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen makes a lot of stupid decisions when he scrambles. Sometimes it ends up as a touchdown. Sometimes it's an interception. It's basically, it's make or bust with him. And I am not a super fan of Josh Allen. I think he's a good, maybe great QB, but I'm going to be honest. I think he's another textbook example of what happens when you give your QB all the fucking money. All of a sudden, he starts to lose guys on his offensive line. All of a sudden, the defense starts to struggle. No Von Miller. The rest of the defense it's going to be hard for the rest of the defense to get pressure without him. I think they will get to Aaron Rodgers a couple times in this game, but I think overall the Jets defense is way better than the Buffalo's defense without Von Miller. So I expect Josh Allen to actually struggle more than Aaron Rodgers, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going to score a couple TDs. So I could be wrong, but I'm going to fade Buffalo Bills in this game, and I might do it for the first half of the season only because no Von Miller, no fucking pressure. And that's going to put more pressure on Josh Allen in this offense. So for the first couple of weeks of the NFL season, I'm probably going to be fading the Bills. And I'll probably jump back on them when Von Miller does come back and he's 100% fully healthy. Meanwhile, for the Jets, I think this is a must-win game. By all means, they have to do everything they can to win this game. And I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have to do his best to be a savant and be a savior for the New York City franchise. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants miss the postseason and the Jets make the postseason. Doesn't mean I think they're going to win the division. It just means I think the Jets can make the playoffs this year, and I think the Giants will miss the playoffs this year. And I hope they do because they need to replace Danny Dimes. Fuck that bitch. So with that being said, I'm taking the Jets on the money line, plus money line. So I'm not just taking big money lines like I am with the fucking with the Baltimore Ravens minus 500, laying down 1,000 to win 200. I'm also taking a lot of upsets this week. I'm taking again. I'm taking the Seahawks minus 200, minus 250, but I'm taking the Browns plus 120, plus 150. I'm probably going to take the Saints minus 120, and I'm going to take the 49ers minus 120. I'm going to take the Ravens minus 500. But then I'm going to take the Packers on the money line. I think I'm going to get them plus 110, plus 120. I'm going to take the Raiders probably plus 150, plus 160. I'll take the Chargers on the spread. I'll take the Cowboys by the hook. Give me the Eagles on minus 225, but I'll also take them minus 4. And then finally with the Jets, I'll take them plus 120, plus 150 on the money line. So half of my bets are basically taking, money line favorites, but I got a couple in there that are small money line upsets. So that's how I'm going to play this week. I'll show you guys all my tickets on Saturday night, and that's how I'm going to be doing it this weekend. And then lastly, how many games did I give you guys tonight? I gave you guys the Chiefs, right? It's going to be my first bet, minus 4 on the money line, which is minus 200, minus 250. My second one is the Seahawks for minus 200, minus 250. That Ravens one, that's going to be $1,000. So that's probably be $1,500 right there, right? And then the Ravens is probably not the Ravens, the Browns at home. That's a $100 bet, so that probably takes me to $1,600. The Saints, probably $150 on the money line because I don't know about that spread. So that's probably going to take me to $1,750. 49ers, it's probably another $150. So that's probably going to put me at $1,900. The Packers, I'm going to put $100 because they're the underdog. So that'll probably put me at 2 G's right there. The Raiders, I'm going to put $100 on. They're an upset alert. That's probably going to put me at $2,100. The Eagles, I'm going to put $200 on the money line, $100 on the spread. That puts me at $2,400. And then the Chargers game is going to be minus 3. Probably put 110 on that. That's going to put me up to $2,500, which means I have to wait for all the Sunday morning games to be over with before I can bet the last 2 games. And the last 2 games will be Sunday night and Monday night. Sunday night game, I'm taking the Giants minus the 3, And then Monday night, I'm taking the Jets on the money line because they're +3, but I'm taking the money line. So that's all the games I have this week. And then for college football, I only have one game this week for college football. Let me pop up the schedule real quick. I know it's a lot of games. I know it's a lot of bets, but I told you we're going to be violent, we're going to be aggressive, and we're going to be fucking everywhere. So these are my bets right here for college football. I only have one bet. I thought about taking that Alabama versus Texas. Taking Nick Saban against his old fucking former, against his former, offensive coordinator. But I'm just going to pass it. I only have one college football game this week that I really, really like. And I don't want to fuck around with anything. I just want to take this one game. I'm taking Colorado -2.5 against Nebraska. And I'm going to be honest, I'm probably going to lay down $250 on this. All my NFL bets are going to come out to $2,750, give or take. I'm going to put $250 right here on Colorado on -2.5, which means I'm betting $3,000 this weekend. So my bankroll for the NFL and college football season is $2,500. I'm betting $3,000 on opening weekend. I'm going 20% over the max, 20% over the limit. I'm going all in, balls to the fucking wall this season. And so I have to wait for all the Sunday games to finish before I could put money on those last two games for the NFL. And I'll probably cash out my Saturday ticket early. And I have to wait for the Kansas City Chief game to end as well. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm putting down $3,000 this weekend, even though I only have a bankroll of $3,000, because that's how committed I am to this. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to be fucking ruthless. I'm going to be balls to the wall. I'm going to be betting heavy. I'm going to be betting often. All of my tickets are 100% free, 100% documented, 100% transparent. You guys don't have to listen to my analysis if you don't want to. You guys can just look at the videos I have for all my tickets. You guys can just look at the tickets and only look at the tickets only, right? Sometimes the analysis doesn't matter. I could sit here all day and tell you, well, this is why I think this team will win, and this is why I think that team will lose, and this is why I think this team is hot and this team is garbage. Who gives a fuck? At the end of the day, the only thing you guys want is results. At the end of the day, the only thing you guys want to do is make money. The only thing you want at the end of the day was to know, am I right or am I wrong? Did we bank or did we swing and miss? What the fuck happened this weekend? So ladies and gentlemen, my analysis is free. My in-depth fucking research is free. But at the end of the day, results are the only thing that fucking matters to me. I'm either making money or I'm losing it. I'm either banking or I'm rolling over. I'm either cashing in or I'm cashing out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how we're going to run this podcast. I'm going to be violent. I'm going to be aggressive. And I'm going to be motherfucking ruthless. But everything's going to be transparent. Everything's going to be 100% documented. And everything's 100% free for the world to fucking witness. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. I'll see you guys this fucking weekend.